All right, Shalom. We the Brothers of Great Millstone, church in Birmingham, Alabama. As always, we want to begin by giving our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, that would be the correct name to the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also, we'd like to give double honors to our teachers, the head of Brothers of Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers out there laboring in His work, and as always, you believers, the Akim, as well as the Aqua, those of you who subscribe to this truth as well. So yeah, we back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, and always the theme is prophecy. As always, as we was commanded by our Lord Yahweh Shah, and that's pursuant to the book of Matthew, the 28th chapter, where the Lord commanded us to go forth and teach all things whatsoever He commanded us. Meaning we will go out and we will further and advance the kingdom of heaven, which is cemented by prophecy, okay? And that will be the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shah, pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter. And guess what? We're coming down to the wire, all right? For everybody who's been staying tuned, if you will, because you're going to have a lot of people that's going to come in at the last second, somewhat stragglers. You're going to have maybe some amongst the elect, But for those of you who have been, locked into the spirit, spiritually invested into the story, if you will, this drama as it plays out, then we're in very exciting times. You actually got brothers quitting jobs. Like, the heat coming down, brothers like, hey, the hell with it. So we in those times now. It's now being brought into, our circumference, if that's the best word to, all right? We're in the midst of it, okay? And what's going to really drive this thing is Esau is going to be revealed in his perfection. Okay, right now, you can actually have somewhat of a leg to stand on. You can say, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the so-called white man is the devil. You might not believe the precepts. Well, there's going to be a time where you're going to see it and really be in that process. Okay, so this man is going to show himself in his perfection, and you're going to see why he's referred to as the devil. Okay, real quick, anybody got something? All right, go ahead and then.
It's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Yep, read that again.
This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Right, and this is a beautiful story. Do you know this vision go all the way back to, real quick, hold that and get 2 Thessalonians 2, the mystery of iniquity. All right, read this one more time.
Come. This is like Habakkuk chapter 2 In verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Right. So this vision, all right, is yet for an appointed time, meaning it will be a certain time where it will be manifested. All right. But the vision really go back. Matter of fact, let's get what you got.
2 Thessalonians verse 3, it's like verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
The mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Go ahead.
Only he who would now let him would let until he be taken.
Yep, go ahead.
And then shall the wicked be revealed.
And then shall that wicked be revealed. So that complements what we read right here in biblical prophecy. The vision is yet for the story don't change. And you read about Cain and Abel and Jacob and Esau and that friction, and you read this and it's talking about something else. Nope. That vision is concerned that same struggle. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, what's the build-up? A changing of kingdoms. That's why Yahushua and his ministry was, look, we in that time. We in a time where the kingdom of heaven will be pushed forth. And that's Matthew 10, 5 and 6, where the Lord sent forth his disciples and said, look, go and preach. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, it don't stop there. When you look up that word kingdom, it goes into dominion, rulership. And one of the words that's territory, meaning this domination, this dynasty, the extension of King Solomon's reign will be played out right here on the planet Earth, which it will extend beyond. And this is where the thinkers come in. You're just a casual Israelite, that's gonna, cancel you out of the fray. All right, but again, that's the vision. What else is the vision? It's not. That's how you get to the bottom of things. At the end of it, it's the kingdom of heaven. So this is that vision. All right, so hold that. Read this one more time.
God, it says, and shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of verse 7, it's like it's 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Yeah, see the mystery. This is a mystery. That's the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. That falls under the guide of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Understanding that the last obstacle, the last challenge, if you will, before the kingdom be ushered in, would be those who work iniquity. Psalms the 10th chapter being activated. Look, when you read Acts the 1st chapter and the 6th verse, what was the first thing the disciples asked Yahushua after his resurrection? Would thou at this time restore again the kingdom? So that's the vision. We are now being made privy. We have been given access and a glimpse into these mysteries now, here in this lifetime. And it's heavy. In order for you to get the understanding of that, you see it required the internet. It required all these things to, because this book is heavy. This is the time where we will come into the full understanding. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who will now let would let until he be taken out of the way.
Go ahead.
And then
with that appointed time,
shall that wicked be revealed.
The last challenge, if you will, the disciples asked, would thou at this? This is the Lord now revealing your last resistance, which is resistance itself. Satan resistance. So how fitting, it's only right that we will be met with this resistance from this devil. Here in the latter days, you got YouTube guidelines. All right, you got this devil, the mystery of iniquity, do already work. This nigga working, man. Me and the brother, I think it happened in Queens. We had an attack. And it had Esau fingerprints all over it. It looked like another false flag, as this guy does, where he pretty much, he follow a age-old form of ordo ab chaos. All right, order out of chaos, where he creates the chaos and he brings in the order. So you had two guys that come up open fire. They stand in, they're not shooting like regular guys out of Queens. They shoot 11 people for nothing. It's just for nothing. and then two scooters come and pick him up. Yeah. Well orchestrated. Well, that had Esau fingerprints all over it, man. Okay, we're in a time where this man is going to have to show himself. All right, and his two keen attributes, one obviously being the sword, that's why it was a shooting, and the other being deception. Okay, Diablo, the deceiver, man. Right, you got something?
Finish this off.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Okay, Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Go ahead.
But at the end.
But at the end, and this is that appointed time. We just read that in 2 Thessalonians. Where the wicked will be revealed. Go ahead.
It says, but at the end it shall speak, and not though it tarry, wait for it.
Yep, and this is dealing with the prophecies in its entirety, obviously, right? But a key component, a key piece of the puzzle, if you will, in which those who sincerely inquire will be able to connect the dots and come to the conclusion. This motherfucker who's stirring up everything. That's this guy, right there what the scriptures say will be eventually revealed. So he's a part of that vision. That's not just some random. You got guys like that in Israel, you waiting on the kingdom, but Esau just random. That's just some shit happening. It got nothing to do with the scriptures. No, we are to look for this man. That's why the scriptures say then he will be revealed. In your spirit, you was looking, for the resistor. Right, go ahead.
It says, though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not tarry.
It will not tarry. Okay. I read one more verse on that because I kind of want you to really go down on that. Yep.
Verse 4.
And like I said, man, I don't know we'll be 12 minutes in. When you're getting on Esau, man, because this is what we was called to do, and that's in the 35th chapter. Prophesy against Mount Seir. Right? Go ahead.
It says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him.
This nigga's not right, man. Right? And you can see, if you're on the fence, Sarah Connor, if you're on the fence, that was set up in the spirit. That was set up in the spirit, man. Right? Because it's obvious. The Lord did everything for a reason. The Lord, that's not just something that escaped the will of your house. If you don't think about Sarah, that's what's going to happen to you. Because it's too obvious right now. If you ain't got the mental capacity, the patience to go into the in-depth, meticulous search, if you will, to just watch this nigga, man. His soul is not right in him. Case in point. Why you not talking about the people that's from that thing? Fuck him, man. You get these, the one guy, and he was the first guy, the Jake with the dreads. He opened up the video like, man, you know what I mean? Like he told his friends on Facebook and shit, man, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. And he showed his feet. His feet looked like a sausage. Took that thing, man. His feet were leaking. But why Esau not talking about that? So this nigga trying to bite you, the serpent he is, he trying to stick them fangs in you, and it's poison. Go ahead, and we're gonna get around to that, okay? We're gonna show you what the scriptures actually tell you how this man is gonna push this in these times. You're gonna push for poison. Go ahead,
Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up.
Well, he's proud. Go ahead.
Is not upright in him.
He's not right up in him. He's not up. Go ahead.
But the just shall live by his faith.
Now, do not that make more sense now? Now you're gonna have to live by your faith. We was quoting that precept, and you meant well, but you didn't really. It didn't drive home like it's driving home now. Because once he shows his countenance, you're gonna have to live by faith. Remember, the narrative is right before you. This man is attempting to take away your luxuries. Fuck luxuries, your necessities, man. So that's why the scripture follow it up by saying, the just shall live by faith. We pretty much narrating what's taking place now. Go ahead,
Yeah, also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man.
And the wine that goes into what? Which is mainly on display through his legislations and laws. This is what contributed to this man's transgression. steadily offending, man. Go ahead, Still proud, man. He offended by his own laws. Like, motherfucker, I got the right to do this because I voted. That's a crazy motherfucker. Go ahead,
He says he is a proud man.
See, he's a proud man. Go ahead.
Neither keepeth at home.
Right now, we're going into the traits. If you're on the fence again, now we're going into the traits. Does not this man have a military base in over 800 countries, I believe? They have U.S. embassies. This nigga fingerprints all over the planet Earth, fulfilling the prophecy spoken of in Job, the 9th chapter. Go ahead,
It says, who enlarged his desire as hell.
Yep, and as hell. Right? Hey, look, everything, and this man in his pursuit to power, as he grew, it was death. He left nothing but blood and carnage in the wake. And dare us to, hey, it's so heavy, we can actually go into footage. You can pull up, type documentary of Hiroshima. Oh, I saw something, man. I believe I told y'all about it. It was this nation, it was this country, this rural country. And America did a damn test bombs on them, man. Like, it was back in the days. Yeah. And you had the people who survived it, and they 80s or something now. They was coming out, they were talking about, I forget why I saw that, man, it was heavy. They were talking about how they were running for their life, bombs coming. He saw, man. The devil. Go ahead,
Oh, I got something.
Yeah, go ahead, we're going to keep that.
The devil, that he's never satisfied. This is on Proverbs 30 and 15. It said, the horse leads two daughters, crying, give.
Yep.
There are three things that are never satisfied. Yeah, 4 things say not, it is enough.
Yep. Now the scriptures refer to this entity, right? Horse leech is he's a bloodsucker, man. That's Esau. That's the so-called white man, and he's not satisfied. I hear that this man has seized control of the resources of the planet Earth, pretty much cornered the market. His face on the damn money, man. You don't even deal with gold and silver. You ain't dealing out or livestock or land. You're not trade. He set his own rules, and this nigga still ain't satisfied. Now he want you, man. So the scriptures made an accurate assessment when diagnosing this this is the prescription. And we diagnosing the symptoms of the cancer of the earth. And eventually the Lord gonna get rid of it in Ecclesiastes the 10th chapter. Go ahead,
It says the grave and the barren womb,
which is also the grave.
It says the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that it is enough.
Yeah, and you go through all those. The earth that's not filled with water, that's dealing with the desolation, the desert place that is America. The dry land, where the Lord made rivers to flow. And also that fire, that's that devourer. Esau's a devourer, he's a conqueror. He was given a sword, okay? That's why Alexander the Greek, who the Lord chose to highlight and spotlight, okay? He was pretty much, they say he cried that he wasn't able to conquer and devour. All right? So, yep, come on.
Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death.
Okay, so this is what's associated and aligned. This is the stigma, if you will, that's attached to Esau. He is as death. Look, and again, if you're on the fence, then just take a step back. Okay, take a deep breath, take a step back and analyze what this man is. He is as death. Why in the hell, and people, why in the hell, I gotta be careful what I'm about to say here, man. Keep an eye on, mouse, just in case, get this out. Man, this man, if you sick, he come up with some shit in the lab. People know that. Why not green? Why nothing? Why nothing natural? That's because you is as deaf. See? Shit don't even look right. You got some shit with a fang at the end of it.
He gotta prick you.
Yeah, I gotta prick you, man. He's the sword. He's the sword. You shall live by you shall live by the sword. Okay, that thing is a level of the sword. Right? Because when you consider the teeth of Esau, when you consider teeth, there's different sizes. You have the sizers and the chompers. You have the canines. So that's the same with Esau and his weaponry. It ranges from the extreme of an ICBM to a damn needle. Go ahead.
It cannot be satisfied.
And he's not satisfied. Again, I get through the spirit. The analogy of this nigga got them, you control the game. The money, the currency is under your watch, man. You're not satisfied with that. You got Esau, Salakia, you got Israel in subjection. As well as Esau too. You got the nations in, because this is the pit. But you're not satisfied. Now he wants your soul. Go ahead.
But gather unto him all nations.
See, but gather unto him all nations. Moabites over here really in captivity to a certain, whoever, all the nations that's here, you in the pit, man. You're paying tribute to these devils. Right? Go ahead.
And heapeth unto him all people.
Yep, go ahead. And that's why this is known as that great melting pot. And again, we going into the traits of this devil. So if you're on the fence, who else can you process of elimination? Who else can you plug in right here in this precept? You have to eliminate everybody else, the so-called Arabs, because you got a bunch of crazy guys, Israelites out there who say that Esau is the Arabs.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, man. All right, so come on.
Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him?
Yeah, and that's what's happening now. Okay, with the prophet spearheading this thing, and this is who this man is going to actually set his sights. He already got his sights on us. But the other nations, they smell blood, if you will, so you can understand. But ultimately, it's us proverb against him. But everybody talking shit about the so-called white man. Go ahead.
And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Right, and that's a criminal. That's a thief. He increased that which is not his. And again, it doesn't take extensive research, in-depth analysis. We got a chalkboard behind us. No, man, just look back, man, what he did over here to how he get America. He increased that which was not his. Go ahead.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Right, and that's going into his debt. And that's a criminal too. They got fines. Go ahead, huh?
Shall not they rise?
He got a probation fines and shit. Man, everything about the so-called white man is off, man. Go ahead, huh?
Shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Yep.
Says,
you're going to be taken. You're going to be defeated. You're going to become spoiled. Woe to you who are spoiled and you was not spoiled. What verse you at?
Verse 8.
Okay, you know what? We can probably end it because I know we'll run our way through that. All right. So, was you holding anything? All right. So now let's shift. Let's get on this double. Go to Revelation. And start at I want to say the 8th verse. Yeah, you can start there. And then kind of build.
All right, Revelation.
We might jump around.
Okay.
All right.
Revelation 12 and start verse 9. It said, and a great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan.
Yeah, and this is a story. This is a script, which pretty much dictates what's taking place here in the form of life and existence, if you will. the earth being the stage where the drama play out. It's going to a point where this dragon will be cast out. He's going to fall off. Him occupying the throne is eventually going to, and you notice, like I was saying in the spirit before we turned on, you see I go right back to really came. And then go back to the beginning, they go back to the serpent. That's why it was a reminder that this was the same guy. You can't forget the story. That's why that countenance of Cain falling goes hand in hand with the image of that beast. You know? Go ahead.
God, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Mm-hmm. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him.
Yep.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is called salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power.
See, that's the story. That's the vision. It centers around the transition of power with this great dragon, the serpent of old, all right, will be cast down, and his angels will. And the kingdom of heaven will be ushered in his stead. A kingdom which will be occupied forever and ever, right? That's why Esau scratching and clawing tooth and nail so hard. They know it's at stake. They still lobbying for the kingdom, man. Go ahead,
It says,
like they trying to make their case. You think that bitter cry ended? That plea, that desperate plea for the birthright? Go ahead,
Come on. It reads, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power, in the power of his anointing. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
Yeah. And that accuser, you see, it's playing out now. It's not this building up to this man accusing somebody for this narrative he created. That's why the scriptures put an emphasis on he gone. He cast down now. He's finally gone. That nigga who put that hell. See, we reading the story as it play out. You're going to see why that's written. Well, it was a form of relief once the Lord cast this man down. You seeing it play out now. Because he's going to be the accuser of it. He's going to, ramp up. And we're going to show you. Matter of fact, let's hold that and go to Revelation 18, start at 23. Like I said in the spirit, I'm trying to see the time. I'm telling you, man, getting on Esau, man. And I feel in the spirit that, this word, I mean, it could be wishful thinking, you're going to be hastening the day, but it's eventually going to happen. But I feel that word will be drawn back soon, It was an article came out how they, I think the brother in LA, Mike Allen, he was going into that, how the social media sites about to be taken down. So that's why you see the spirit going heavy. Brothers might, brothers on fire now around the world. That's why I said, man, getting on Esau, who knows? Because now you red-handed. He got you, man. You do all this shit. You got something?
Yeah.
All right, come on.
This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 18. And he said to them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
Come on, man. Yeah. So the Lord said he beheld Satan. He was prophesying. He who have eyes to see, the prudent man foreseeth the evil. Who more than Yahushua? His testimony is prophet. So he's talking about now, man. He already saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven, meaning his seat of power. The seat of power. All right. That's it? All right, come on.
God, Revelation.
I guess you have a Christian and say, see, that was the Satan. You got cast from heaven. So when was hell created? Just want to throw that out there. Because the scriptures go into the creation. But
God.
the Lord created the hell. The Lord created the hell on the fly. He was beating Satan's ass on the wall. And then casting it and zapped, and hell was created going. Instead of just killing them, just sitting on their head. Go ahead.
Revelations 18 and 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee.
Right, and that's dealing with America, Babylon the Great. We're going into prophecy, man. What's that talking about? It's going to be power outages, man. And also, because the scriptures do have duality. Scriptures, it have spiritual overtone. That's dealing with the wisdom also of these devils, man. That's in Job. Is that Job 20? Oh, 18, it's like, yep. Yeah, the light, yeah. In thy tabernacle.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
It says, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Yep.
For the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
Yep. It's like finish that off.
It says, in error was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
Now, it says, and by your sorceries, all nations were deceived. You look up that word sorceries. You're going to see why the scriptures is actually building up to this time. You think like we're going to outrun the scriptures? No. What I mean is we get here and all that's just in the past. It ain't going to talk about what's taking place. No, it's going to go right into what's going on now, man. So remember it says, by thy sorceries, that shall deceive them. First of all, is not a campaign going on to deceive you. You think it's a boogeyman out there in the form of, this. Yeah. He's doing it by his sorceries. Now let's look up the word sorceries.
Sorceries, the use of power gained from the assistance.
Oh, you on the blue letter?
Oh, Slack.
Yeah. Go to the blue letter on that Slack. I should have told you what verse we had. Right there, they're gonna go there, man. We're going to some Harry Potter shit. You know what I mean? That's whatever they go on there.
What verse we had?
18 to
23. And look up that word sorcery. Read it one more time.
God, this Revelation 18 to 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. Mm-hmm. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And
it's levels. Because we know even from the media, just Esau's very being and presence is deception. Yeah. But look, everything comes to a point. It get more detailed. Yeah, you can apply all those things and it'll be accurate, but it goes into detail. At some point, it points to what it's really talking about. Go ahead,
Strong's G 5331 pharmakia says the use or administering of drugs.
Oh, the use and administering. What's drugs? It ain't good drugs. You can't say no. That don't apply to what they did. Because these are, Lord tells us, no, man. A drug is a drug. The administration of drug. It said, look, by the administration of drug on the deceive our nations. Go ahead.
Poisoning.
Oh, what?
Poisoning.
Poisoning, man. Poisoning. And this is what Esau is rallying behind. This is what he's rallying behind. This is his last really haymaker to get the ball rolling for that MOTB. Everything come together perfectly, man. But he's deceiving the nations, which is not reserved to just physical countries, just nigga. Nations is people too, man. So a nigga who stepped up,
yeah.
That's the precept coming.
Yeah.
Is it more on that?
Yeah, it says the deceptions and seductions of idolatry.
Come on, man. This is the only way he can lay it on you through deception. You got something?
Yeah, kind. Yeah, this is 2 Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians 2, and I started at 9. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan,
yep,
with power, signs, and lying wonders.
Yep, and that goes into media. You know, it goes into his reporters, which that word reporter go back to decree too. We went into that word decree, and one of the words come up as reporter. So they will be the heralds, if you will, for Satan, right? So that contributes to the deceivableness. If I'm saying that right, deceivableness. I know I mangled that. Go ahead.
It says, and with all deceivableness.
Yep, deceivableness. That's it. Go ahead.
Of unrighteousness in them.
Of unrighteousness, yeah. The unrighteousness is driven by deceivableness. So now we caught the man with his hand in the cookie jar. Who else you looking for to fulfill the prophecies, man? He the one caught red-handed deceiving. This is simple, man. He the one who's caught red-handed by deceiving the people. We look sick and bullshit, man. That means you link up with the scriptures. That's Yahushua. The overwhelming spirit of Yahushua still prophesying against Rome, man. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. This is Job 5:13. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong.
Yep, and that's Yahushua. Because when something is carried headlong, it's equivalent to you tripping. That's that stone of stumbling. And once you, man, that's the most, you pissed. I know me personally. You walking and you stumble on something, you like to get up, fuck, you know, swing on them. That's real irritating. You know, you walk down over and trip you. When your house side that stone is stumbling, that's why Esau is now falling headlong. And how did the Lord stumble him? Through the words, through the truth, man. This is what's combating. This is a resistance to Esau's agenda. That's why if you remember, you go back to 2007 when they first started to try to infuse that thing, MOTB. Well, that was the summer where the apostles came out. And they came out hitting the ground running, going into that thing. And that was a stumbling block. That would cause them, even to this very day. That's why they're trying to get rid of, that freedom of speech thing.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, come on.
Back Revelations 12 and
so we finished up. Go back to Revelation 18 and 23 one more time.
Okay. Revelation 18 verse 23, it reads, and the light of the candle shall shine no more all envy, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more all envy.
In well, man, in America, Babylon the Great. Why will it talk about now? Go ahead.
For the great men of the earth,
right.
for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
And that, it don't stop. Esau is going to continue to deceive, but we at the head of this now. Where this man has put all his stock into deceiving you through his sorceries, which the brother looked up sorcery, and it really goes into poison. All right, drugs are poison. So this is the beginning stages. You know how it's gonna play out. The Lord, we can't tell you in detail what date and they're gonna administer the MOTB, but we know this is the beginning stages. Well, you might have a succession of being hit up, and eventually they'll try to soften the blow and introduce, Revelation 13. In this nanotechnology. Either way it go, the prophecy is going to prevail. Okay, come on. Yep, continue. Revelation.
All right, back Revelation 12 and verse 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed.
Oh, that's like it.
It says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony.
See? And that testimony is what we have. What other story makes sense to what we read here? Because, hey, it's a battle of words, if you will. And I mean that because this is the word, and Esau, through his decrees and legislation, you know, that's where that battle, that's where the engagement starts. So by the testimony, by these words, we're trumping whatever jurisdiction is out there, because this is the kingdom of heaven. This is a decree from the heaven, like, yeah, it's a changing of the guard. If you don't believe us, you ain't got to believe us. We don't want to get the emails. You know? Why we getting emails over our video? Come on, man. You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead, huh? So that we're going to overcome by this testimony. Go ahead.
It says, and they love not their lives unto the death.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, rejoice ye heavens.
Woo! Rejoice ye heavens. The heavens is dealing with this gathering, man. The kingdom of heaven is within you. All right? Our conversation is in heaven, man. So this is the time to rejoice. Because whatever we might go through, let's say if something happened, you get overthrown. All right, the brother Yashi was mentioning about how you got a chance to leave your legacy, you know. However it work out is going to work for our good, in other words. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what happened in the coming days, the kingdom of heaven is what's at stake. That's why they say they didn't love their life to the death, because if you really understood, you're like, the curtains is going to close on this scene. You're going to clap, 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 and the Lord going to bring it into the kingdom of heaven, man. Go ahead, huh? Come on.
Real quick, Ecclesiastes, the Sirach chapter, in verse 28, it says, strive for the truth unto death.
Yep, strive for the truth unto death. And again, these scriptures make a whole, and they're going to continue to make more and more sense. That's why the scriptures say knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our time. Troops moving in on you, and you remember Isaiah 59, you know? Start playing in your head. Then it unfold. Go ahead. It's gonna make you're gonna strive to the truth all the way to the end. The truth is gonna always grow. All right, go ahead.
It says, and the Lord shall fight for thee.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and going into the very times we're going into. Because this is you being faced with that proverbial fork in the road now. Okay, this is it. See, it gets to a point where decisions have to be made. Remember, this is the ultimate mental game. In sports, it gets to a time when you actually is live. They actually call it live bullets or something like that. In football, that's a physical thing that's activated. But in this game, you're going to be faced with decision making. It's going to be a game of the spirit. And then you see how it's playing out? It's not, you about to go into a time where you got to say, nah, I can't do that, man. I can't take that. Go ahead. See, motherfucker, you can see that, man. I will pop up in the, with the boss. Been watching your video, want you to. So let me chill. Go ahead. Decisions don't have to be made. That's why I said strive for the truth. To the day, you don't always have precepts around when all hell breaks loose. The truth gonna be activated. It's gonna be live, but it's gonna be game time, if you will. Okay, that's why again, what's going to be the stability in that time? Knowledge and wisdom. Scripture's gonna be, infused. You got something?
No, I ain't got
All right, come on, we can go back to Revelation 12.
Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens.
Yep.
And ye that dwell in them.
Yep, those who dwell within the courts of Yahweh Shema Shah. And that's what's that? Psalms 65:4. Go ahead.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Anybody outside of this circle. Go ahead.
And of the sea.
And of the sea. And of the people. Woe unto you. Because why you're not hedged by their protection? You're not in the temple. Revelation 11 chapter. Measure the temple to those who worship therein. Go ahead.
For the devil is come down.
For who? Now this make more sense. And a Christian better not. Man, come on, man. Christian come around you and they hear that. It's gonna be a mess, man. Read this again. Before we know who this is talking about. Go ahead.
It says, for the devil is come to you having great wrath.
Now remember, you got to keep it in perspective, because when you read these whole chapters, you got to know the whole chapters, right? We just were talking about the same dragon, the serpent from of old. Was not we just reading that in the same? It was the dragon. It started off going into the casting down of the dragon, and the scriptures made a conscious effort to say that old serpent. So why did it go back full circle? Because when you put the pieces together, it goes into detail of how this man going to come after you. I think we're good. Yeah, come. All right. So I think we're good on you. Good on you.
Good.
All right. So read that one more time, up.
Revelation
12:12.
All right, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath.
The devil is come down unto you, what?
Having great wrath.
And again, that devil is the same dragon. That will go back to the old serpent. Now let's go to Genesis, the 4th chapter. And I want to say start at like the 5th or 6th verse. Because that weapon is back. And he's trying to puncture you. And Lord, what do the Spirit? Lord, what do the Spirit going to get that in the pocket, boy?
All right, this is
I think I'm saying that. Yep, that's it.
God, this is Genesis 4 and 6.
What's that verse on there? Read it first one.
Verse 5. It says, but Cain into his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
And he was very wroth. Why? Because he was his offering was rejected. Now, when you fast forward to now, he's been rejected from being king. Either way it go, the spirit of rejection with the Lord, he's going to be rejected. It wasn't just reserved to that time. We're in the time now where he's hearing the report that he's rejected. His kingdom is leaving, and he's hearing that report, man. That's why we just had the technical difficulties. But that can apply to and read it again. The word wrath is there. Read it again.
Okay. It reads, this is Genesis 4 and 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
He was very wroth, and his countenance fell. See? That word wrath is fair. All right, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
Mm-hmm.
And if thou do well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not,
so if Esau did well, he would be accepted. It's like, why are we resisting him? You trying to get us jabbed, you know? And that's just the tip. Like I said, everything goes into the tip. That's the tip. You assess the whole body of work, and this man never did good. That's why he's never been accepted. You think that's just reserved to that time? Give me real quick Isaiah. Is that Isaiah 46 and 8, declaring the end. 46 and 10.
This is Isaiah chapter 46 and 10, declaring the end from the beginning.
And that's across the board. So when we read Genesis, that's the Lord also declaring the end from the beginning. Does it not make sense as we read the dynamic betwixt Cain, the fugitive, the murderer? That's not a story. And I'm gonna say something. Like when you take a carnal approach, you think about school. See, school he was indoctrinated to Babylon through school. That was one of the dark regions of Babylon the Great. School. Now, what I mean by that is because when you think about school, your language book, history, social studies, math, or whatever, the first chapter always the easiest one. That's why subconsciously you look at Genesis and you dismiss it, not understanding. It's a very powerful prophetic book, man. And we read that right here in this precept. Read that again, man.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Right, yeah. Declaring the end from the beginning. Yeah. Go ahead.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
And from ancient times, what do you think ancient is? We reading the ancient times. The story of Cain and Abel, man, who was later reincarnated as Jacob and Esau. That's why you're talking about Jacob and Esau now. What are you talking about Esau now? Don't you say Esau is this guy? So that we go into the ancient times, which declares now. See, go ahead.
It says, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
That's it. So in this story, the Lord going to do his pleasure. Who cares if you say, that's back in the Bible days. Go ahead, let's go back. Genesis 4.
Genesis 4, verse 7. If thou do well, shalt thou not be accepted? Mm-hmm. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, yep. And unto thee shall be his desire, yep. And thou shalt rule over him.
See? They're going to be a marriage made in heaven. Esau captures the very essence of to transgress, sin, a resistor of righteousness. See, you have some?
Yeah, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is just going back to you, him being rejected. This is 1 Samuel 15-23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
See, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Come on, man. And we saying that witchcraft is really on display now. It's not this. See, because just because you're in a modern world, you can't lose sight of that. What they jab is witchcraft. But we know it ranges. But like I said, everything goes to a point where, it plays out. It gets clearer and clearer and actually plays out. And the Apostle Dubois goes into that about how that word rebellion translates to back to war. So Esau is pretty much waging war against the Lord through his legislations, his laws, his countenance. And that's another thing, the countenance of these devils, his image goes into, those draconian ways, all the way back to the Roman Empire to now, the legislations in which he governed by. So his countenance, he set his face against the Lord. Look crazy at the king, because the king witty, the king wise. Don't think that the king is looking. get him, you know. He just set his face again.
Yeah.
Set his face against me, man. That's the intensity of this battle. Two rivals, these spirits, these entities, that bump head all the way back. It physically plays out. His word, everything is a fight against, you know. But
it says, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry.
Yeah, and that's Esau. He pushed forth stubbornness, and it's as what? Idolatry, meaning the characteristics of idolatry, the characteristics of witchcraft is stubbornness and rebellion. See? So that's how it plays out. You got more on that?
It says, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he have also rejected thee from being
king, man. Okay? And that's why when you read, what's that, Revelation, the 3rd chapter, hold fast to that, which thou hast, that no man take your crown. But, you know, that's the fight, because the Lord rejected him, took him, now he's trying to take our crown. You know, which we understand is his rhetoric, everything he pushed forth is what's set to take you off of this path. So the back, all right, up is a mental game, man. All right, so come on.
I got something real quick. This is Proverbs 23, and I start at 27. It says, for an whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men.
Yep, and increaseth the transgressors upon men. So this is what causes you to, you know, go off, man. All right, yeah, go ahead.
Jump down. I start at 31. It says, look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last, it biteth like a serpent.
At the last, it what?
Biteth like a serpent.
So at the last, it's clear, it's shown, it plays out. We're in the last. And what he trying to do? He trying to bite you like a serpent. I'm telling you, man, the script is heavy, man. I mean, because it goes into the actually scene. We in the scene now. Well, cause it say at the last, if I tell you, look, we're gonna watch the film, and at the last, at the end, he's gonna bite you like a serpent. It's like a serpent. And that thing looked just like a. What you ever saw like a nigga? I'm telling you, man. You understand? I'm telling you, man. You call all your how much because he opens you up to see you. When you look at a needle, that thing, I ain't making this up. When you push it, you see like the move, it drips out, right? Yep. It's the same happened with a serpent, man. The serpent, it drips out the fang. So it said at the last, we know we at the last, man. Yeah, I was out here. Oh, the scripture speaks about salvation being nearer than when we first believed. Now you got to understand, because the Lord is wise. When he's talking to King Solomon, he's going over your head, you know? That's what it is. That's why they ask, why are you talking over? That's wisdom that's talking over their head. Now, one of the ways it shows you that my salvation is nearer than I believe, do you know that really means the destruction is near?
God.
Oh, see the word salvation, you gotta guys look at it. My salvation is near. But that really means destruction, calamities, and drama is near. That's in Acts the 14th chapter. This is what is going to bridge you to the kingdom of heaven. Because you can't be saved without destruction. So it's all playing out beautifully. This man is going to move in. At the end, he's going to bite like a serpent will come at your ass. And that's what they're going to do. That's what the Lord telling you what's going to happen at the end. Go ahead. You had something? We're going to go back.
This is Sirach chapter 21 and verse 1. It says, my son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more, but as pardon for thy former sins. Flee from the face of sin.
From the countenance, the face The image, that's the image of that God. That's what is the image. That's why guys don't believe. They think that's just a phrase in the scriptures. The image of the beast all throughout the scriptures, man. That's the face of the serpent. Go ahead.
It says, flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if
and why is the face of the serpent? Because his policies is going to cause for you to be pricked. He's the sword. He got to puncture you, man. Expect the sword here for just to sit there. The sword has to be the sword. Yep. And the sword again ranges. The sword gonna be like this, man. You got
mm-hmm. It says, flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, mm-hmm. it will bite thee.
It will bite thee, man. Now, and it's playing out now. And that's why when you read the scriptures, those who got victory over Lord will, we get that. Those who got victory over the image. The face, the mandate, the draconian measures that will go forth, that will test the metal of the elect, that final fire. Yep, go ahead.
The teeth thereof.
Oh, the what?
The teeth thereof.
The teeth thereof
are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men.
Slaying the souls of men, man. And that's gonna, there's no coming back. See? Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
You go. All right, Con. This is back Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 32. It says, "At the last, it biteth like a serpent."
Right. As you watch the drama in the last scene, it will bite like a serpent. Go ahead. Like a serpent. Go ahead.
And stingeth like an adder.
And stingeth like an adder, man. That's that same old serpent from old. That's why you read. We're gonna go back to Genesis the 4th chapter. Okay. Matter of fact, go ahead and go back to Genesis the 4th chapter. The story is in its totality. That struggle in the womb, this is it being played out. It's a point where you have a match, and then the bell ring, they go back to their corner, and the bell ring again, they come out. There's nothing Esau can do to somehow not fulfill what's written in the scriptures. Eventually, he's going to show himself, man. And this story going to play out. Go ahead,
God, this Genesis 4 and 8. Well, I started verse 7 again. It said, "If thou do well, shalt thou not be accepted."
So come on, that make more sense now. You can't just read that like, that's a story. No, that's talking about now. Okay. This is how we convict Esau. We can read that to Esau. Straight up, man. If you do it well, he come and try to get you and say, "Oh, look, if thou do as well, will thou not be accepted? Will I not let you in?" Fucker. That's why you got to kick in the door to the military. Because you are not accepted, man. You that same entity. And that story playing out good,
It says, "And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Yep, go ahead.
And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him."
Yep, go ahead.
It says, "And Cain talked with Abel, his brother."
Mm-hmm. Oh, he talked with him. Yeah, go ahead.
And it came to pass.
We know, man. Like we'll talk that phrase. It came to pass, right? It has everything to do with prophecy, man. Go ahead, We just read in Isaiah the 46th chapter where the Lord said He declared the end from the beginning. Yeah, these stories actually happen, but you have spiritual lenses you view it through. That's why Yahweh Shah would tell stories. You ask him, tell us about the king. He said, there's two guys in the field, But that's what we're doing. We're telling you the story was playing out now through this story of these two guys. These two resistant entities. Oh, and that actually goes into Lazarus and the rich man as well. It's the same story. See? Which is a tale of an intense battle, man. A struggle for rulership. See? You got something over there?
I get somewhere.
No, you got
This is Sirach or Ecclesiastes 14:7 says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last.
Ooh, you gotta ask yourself these questions. Is it the guy? Hold up, I thought according to Christianity, you should be looking for a guy in a red spandex suit. So that's what that's talking about, huh? Read that again.
Good. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Good. So that's what you're seeing. At the last, Esau is getting ready to change his countenance. He's getting ready to declare his wickedness, starting with these draconian laws he's going to mandate.
Yeah. At the last. At the last, that's what the scriptures is a build up. It's the testimony of Yahweh. It's the spirit of prophecy. So at some point, it'll get to the point where it's there. It's you actually speaking it as it happened now. So that's how we know how close we are to the end. The only story that makes sense is what's taking place now. You better not pop up with doctrine, some goofy shit, man. How close we is to the end, Yeah, that was it? All right, come on. Was that it? No. It's 8 to 5 or something like that?
What did it say?
Just bag you up like those stores that play down, they just really popular.
Beautiful, yeah. Man, I thought that was a spell. It ain't I can, you know what? I'm finna find the Lord will. So like the Bible was something. Matter of fact, read that. You got something?
There's Psalms 81:5.
That's it. That's it. I know. I thought it was 80. Yeah. That's it. Yep. Go ahead.
It says, this he ordained in Joseph for a testimony.
See? Read that again.
This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony.
For a testimony. So what happened in Joseph was for a testimony. It happened so we can talk about it and apply it now. And you could go into detail what happened to Joseph. Go to Psalm. You got that? Psalm 105. Get that real quick. The water. I think it's like 17 or something. Yeah. So the scriptures say what happened to Joseph was for a testimony. Okay, giving credence to applying what happened even in the time of Cain and Abel to now. And when you read Cain and Abel, you apply it to now. It's going into the same story. This nigga Countenance fair, he got Ross. And we're gonna go into we eventually gonna apply the attempt to do. Go ahead. But let's get this.
God, this Psalm 105 and 17. He sent a man before them, even Joseph,
right,
who was sold for a servant.
And that happened to us. That's why, again, let's read that again.
It says, this he ordained in Joseph for a testimony.
See, for a testimony. So as Joseph was sold as a servant, that happened to us too. Go ahead.
It says, whose feet they hurt with fetters.
Yeah.
He was laid in iron.
Yeah, you put in yoke of iron, did not that happen to us too? Go ahead. Until
the time that his word came.
See, until we got this word. Go ahead.
The word of the Lord tried him.
See, the word of the Lord tried him. Yeah, that happened to Joseph, but it's not happening now. Go ahead.
The king sent and loosed him.
The king sent and loosed him. It's not that going to happen with us. Yahweh Shai is going to send and loose us. Go ahead.
Even the ruler of the people, and let him go free.
Yeah, go ahead.
He made him Lord of his house.
Yeah, and did not Yahweh Shai promise that? He's going to make us Lord over many things. Go ahead.
It says, and ruler of all his substance.
And ruler of all his substance. And what we're going to do with that rulership, as Yahweh Shai promised, go ahead.
To bind his princes at his pleasure.
So that's what we're going to do in the kingdom. We're going to actually bind you at our pleasure. Go ahead.
And teach his senators wisdom.
And that's Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Out of Mount Zion shall go forth the law. So when you read right there, that song dealing with Joseph is a foreshadowing of the kingdom in us, man. So that's why you read that again.
Psalms 81:5. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not.
See that? Come on, even that. Yep. So now you see where you're going into Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau. That's why we call Esau. That's really going back to the beginning. You can actually go back to the beginning of that story and then go into the details of the battle. And that's what we read right here in Genesis, 4th chapter, which was concerning his lot in his drum. Go ahead.
Genesis 4 and verse 7. If thou do well, shalt thou not be accepted? If thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
Yep. So when they were in the field, come on, man. Got to remember, Israel was scattered to the field too, because that's scripture going to what's that? Micah. I'm gonna say Micah the third. It's the 4th chapter. 4th and the 10th verse.
Yeah.
He said you should leave out of the city and go into the field. So out here, outside of that protection, pretty much, out in the field and Esau shit. It's not. Come on, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Yeah, man. The fatness of that's his. That's the world. Scripture say it. So under Esau, and when Esau was ruling, when he got the upper hand, see, but
and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me.
And that's happening right now as well. Go ahead.
From the ground.
From the ground, see?
And now,
the lower part, because when you read, what's that? What's that? Where it said, yeah. Ye earth sing, ye lower parts of the earth sing. That's dealing with us. We the base. That's 1 Corinthians, the 1st chapter. The Lord told us the base thing, so we crying out from the ground, from the bottom. Go ahead. And it happened though. All right, you got to qualify that. This happened, but the things written aforetime was written for our learning. That's why we just read concerning Joseph. His story was a testimony, right?
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Yes, so the results of captivity, the wounds of slavery, it was at the hand of Esau, man. And when you read Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, it speaks about because thou hast shed the blood. So the blood of thy hand, that vibration continues throughout life. Throughout these different lifetimes. That's how we know that that's Cain. That's how, because he's playing out. But he's playing out that spirit. He's playing out the spirit of Esau. He's playing out the spirit of Cain. See, go ahead.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me.
Yep, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me. That's being played out physically on the earth as well. We crying out. That widow who cried out. Okay? The damsel who cried out. That's the story. Not that taking place. Yeah, that's the story. We cried out against Esau, all his crimes, atrocities. That's the one set against another. That's that struggle in the womb. Okay, go ahead.
And the souls of the just complain continually.
And the souls of the just, the lives of the just complain continually. That goes into that word plaintiff goes back into complaining. You had a plaintiff, you had a defendant. You see, Esau is more you can say he's proactive with it, but he's more of a reactor, a resistor to truth. He's trying to defend, but you have the plaintiff, the complainer, right? That's the dynamic of court. Right, was it on it? All right, come on.
God. Genesis chapter 4, verse 12. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right, and when you go into the word tillest, it goes into a servant, if I'm not mistaken. A servant, a slave. So that goes into the continuation of the story. Your brother shall be thy Lord. You know, you're meant to be, that's going to be your destiny. You're going to be a slave. But when thou tillest the ground, go ahead.
It shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
And that's happening also in Esau's rulership. The planet Earth is not yielding forth for strength. This man had to create food out the lab, out of thin air. Go ahead. Oh, you got GMOs, seedless grapes. And do you really know what a flame really is? You know the so this place, hey, they told you, they shaped it like an onion and made it rhyme with onion.
Yeah.
Now you think it's an onion ring, you know, shit wild out here, man. You really don't know what it is. It's like an explosion.
Oh, you saying how they make that shit?
Oh no, you said the video, yeah. I forget the details though.
It's like they cut like you know the little cookie cutters out of bed, like out of a bed and shit. It's like they frying a bed.
Yeah.
That's how it look.
Yeah, so this man is deceiving even in the drought. Because really he ran out of food a long time ago. Yeah. He deceiving you in the drought. He got shit, you got your mind so dumbed down you can grab a bag of chips. You know what the hell that is? And on the back it's these numbers. That's the crazy, that's the deceiver, man. That's the crazy, you know? That's where you at. Go ahead. Huh? Hey, because like the meat, they got mystery meat. You don't know what this is, man. Oh, did y'all see the video with a woman? She said she ate some sausage and with the teeth.
Yeah, man.
She found the human teeth in the motherfucker, man. See? So the earth is not sending yielding forth her strength to this devil. Go ahead, huh?
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
Yep, and that's the so-called white man. He's a fugitive, man. The mere fact that you can pull up information where he raped, pillaged, robbed, in his pursuit of power, his conquest, he conquered, all right, his continual stroke against the nations, the animals. It's not enough. We got to break down to you, man. That's why the Lord going to be justified in visiting you niggas who came across this truth, man, and you reject it. Because this is really plain. You know? This man is well documented, his offenses. And he hasn't paid for it. That's the fugitive and the vagabond that's going to sit in the earth, man. Good, huh?
God. It says,
why he never tell you about Edom? Why we had to tell you, start with the apostles and elders about Edom? Real talk, think about it, man. All these movies dedicated to the Bible. Why you ain't winning? This is the perfect time to go into something about Edom. With all the graphics you got now, all the technology, 3D, you have a battle in the womb. Fucking won't even go into that, man. Because you're a fugitive. You running from. It's equivalent to, you know, you try to walk that nigga, say your real name. Tell that. You don't look. Go ahead.
And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Right. Who want to be an Edomite, man? You hear the report. This is playing out now. How did he really know the details of this punishment? Because what's the punishment? It's not the punishment slavery, it didn't change. We just have more details now about the punishment. The punishment that's too great to bear is the 1,000 years of slavery. And when you go into Lazarus and the rich man, it goes into it. That's why he said that sends water to relieve. That's that same guy. That's the punishment. See? What?
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth.
Yep. And then we just read where it said the dragon has been cast out, which we know this man has been scattered. He don't have. Oh, let's prove that. Go to the thief. He's been driven out. He's a vagabond. Now, what would a nigga like that do? A nigga been kicked out the house for being a killer. You killed your brother. So that nigga wandering around, you don't want him coming around your premises. Go ahead,
God, this is Ecclesiastes Sirach 36:26. Who would trust a thief well appointed?
Yep. That's the same thief that come to steal, kill, and destroy, man. Which is that guy. We reading about with Cain. Go ahead.
That skipping from city to city.
See? He was driven out from once. He's skipping from city to city. Go ahead.
So who will believe a man that have no house?
Woo!
Elijah.
Oh, that's not that plan out now, though. You gonna believe the man now who have no house? That's the same guy, Cain, who was driven out. Now you gonna believe him when he tell me, let me stick you, man. Yeah, he in the land of Nod. Wondering. That's what that word go into here.
It says, a man that have no house, it's like it says, and so who will believe a man that have no house?
Yeah, you gonna believe him? Why that word believe that? It's not he trying to pull you to the side. Come on, man. Oh, it's a video where Boosie said, man, I went on, took it, man. The little nigga beats. Nigga hanging on, diabetic. That's a thing that you can, yeah. So like, man, no offense, might be diabetic. I'm just saying on that little nigga, man. Go ahead.
It says, Elijah, whatsoever the night taketh
him, which the night, this is where he running at. The criminal runs in the night. The night would be America, and this system that's veiled over the planet Earth. This is where he roaming around. This is what he trying to get you at. So the scripture said, I'm gonna believe him. I'm gonna believe that guy. All right, so we can go back up.
God, it says, this Genesis 4:14, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid.
Yeah, and from thy face, which he would not be able to behold the glory of the Lord. That's in yeah, I think that's it. Show him favor in the land of
yeah.
He would not be able to behold the majesty of the Lord. That's that. He would never be, he's carnal. He would never be able to get what it took to get the kingdom. He'll never get it. It was about obedience. You know? Yeah. He can behold that and understand that and grasp that, man. So he went out on a quest to kill for it. Go ahead, huh?
It says
that's what's at stake, man. Yeah. That's came back trying to. That's the fight for the. You think that story just played out, just but the Lord bent to trap you with it. That's why you had the title of the characters, Isaac. You have to know that. No, that's Yahweh. You know that's the King of Kings. He was giving out rulership. Yep. Go ahead, huh?
It says, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Right, this man will not come out and tell you that he's the Edomites, man. And you might have one who say, well, how come you gonna no? We know he's the Edomites, so why he ain't telling you the Edomites? No, it's equivalent to you knowing somebody from way back, and you say, I know that's you, Junebug. You got you might like, oh, that ain't me, man. Go ahead, huh?
It said, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth.
That's prophecy, man. It's not. It said, and it shall come to pass. Go ahead.
That everyone that findeth me,
go ahead,
shall slay me.
And that will be his destruction, which ties into what? 2 Thessalonians. Let's say, then that man of sin shall be revealed. That's that same man of sin. That's why he said they're gonna find me, then they're gonna slay me. That's the chronological order. they're going to reveal. The scripture says he's going to be revealed. Then he will be destroyed with the brightness of his coming. Man. Okay, so that's the same entity. You know, now from there, it's ready to close. We go to Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 10. And remember, we read in Genesis, the 4th chapter, I think the 6th verse. It went into detail about how Cain's countenance fell. He began to show himself real quick. Give me, what's that? Ecclesiastes 12.
Okay.
And you can get most of the meat you can out of there. You know the point of it.
Okay. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 16. Says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips,
yep.
but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit.
Yep. And again, this is playing out right now. In his heart, in his secret meetings, he's concocting, you know, a way to overthrow Israel, man. That's the fight. That's the same story. See? Go ahead.
He will weep with his eyes.
Yep.
But if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
Yep. And that's the devil across the board. He's never been satisfied with blood. He'll rip you limb from limb, won't stop, overkill, and and even to you know, everything that this man has, and yet he still want, you know, your life. You know? Go ahead.
Says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Yep, again, across the board. When he was hanging from a rope, he was on hanging from a tree, he was on the other side of the rope. Just a sample size of him being there when adversity is there. Go ahead.
Though he pretend to help thee.
Yeah, now you see his build up. He's pretending to help you. Yeah. Give all of a sudden give a fuck about you, man. When he gave you cigarettes, drugs in your neighborhood and guns, man. He gave you gangs and shit. Worked on the psyche of Israel, made them, he facilitated that evil eye towards your brother. Curse. Go ahead.
Says, and though he pretend to help
but
thee,
now all of a sudden he want to help you. Go ahead.
Yet shall he undermine thee.
Yet he's looking to undermine you. Go ahead.
He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance.
And change his countenance, man. Meaning this man will eventually show himself. You're going to see his horns, but even with his policies, you know, this man's going to change his countenance, his image. You see him now scrambling, you know, trying to, you know, set certain things in play to come after Israel. There's certain legislation, you got that domestic terrorism. And we know all those things are geared towards the prophets. Matter of fact, let's prove that. Go to Revelation 12. You got something? Get that Revelation 12, 17. Okay. Yeah.
Just going back, he said he's going to change his countenance. This is one of those scenarios that played out. And this is Daniel 3 and 19. Then Nebuchadnezzar, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury.
Wroth.
And the form of his visage was changed.
And the form of his visage was changed. This is playing out now again. Go ahead.
And the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Against his image, his spirit, man, his images. It was changed against, that's that battle. It goes all the way back to Cain in the story. This is an story, man. It never really let up. Yeah, you go into different phases, like you go to Psalms, then King David talk about the same story. My enemies. It's going to the same story, man. Go ahead.
It says, therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than they want to be.
So he spake, in his speech was in order to bring forth some type of judgment. Matter of fact, give me Amos real quick. I think 1 and 11.
This the book of Amos 1 and 11. Therefore, it's like, thus said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will the punishment thereof.
And my punishment is greater than I can bear, man. That's the same, story. And we know, and that's why Esau fighting tooth and nail. He know about the punishment. We reminded him about the punishment. And in his spirit, he know it. That's why he's reacting in this way. Go ahead, because the Lord said he's not going to turn away that punishment. Go ahead.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
Yeah, see, he's his brother. Yeah. That's the same story, man. That's now physically, it's poetry that's being told and is playing out. And Jake don't know the story. Like our people, they don't know the story. But through the Spirit, the Lord allows you access to the story. Go ahead.
It says, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually.
And his anger tore perpetually. When you're going to perpetually, that's a duration of time. It didn't just stop in a box. This God will come up against you perpetually. Yeah, man. Cain on the computer shit, man. Yeah, go ahead. It said, read that part again.
It says, and his anger did tear perpetually and kept his wrath forever.
So he was wrath forever. That spirit as it comes, that's the same spirit now that's physically manifesting in the climax of the movie. Where he's going to, matter of fact, give me Wisdom of Solomon 10. You got more on that?
No, pretty much.
Okay, you get that Wisdom of Solomon 10:10. You have something?
Keep that Revelations 12.
Yep, come. Matter of fact, get that real quick.
It's Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make.
You're going to wear wrath again. This is the time where it's physically manifesting now. See, this is the one story. You have campfire stories and fables. Yeah. This is the one story that actually comes to life. See, go ahead.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
That's what's happening now, the resistance. Right? She's going to make war. It's like he's going to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Which keep the commandments of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And have the testimony of Yahweh.
Yep, so it goes, everything going to a point. It's going to eventually point to, because they know who they're looking to come after, but it's through deception, through the shroud of, the cloud of deception. It's all shrouded in mystery. They not going to, this nigga the devil, he's the Diablo. He's not going to say, hey, it's those guys who talking about the MOTB, who we going to get. That's why I said it. They went to make war with the remnant of a seed and those who keep the testimony of Yahweh, which goes back to that same resistance. All right, so come on.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 10:10. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath.
Right, man, from his brother's wrath. Okay? Because this guy is wrath. That's why in Genesis the 27th, the story is it's the same story. Different names over the, remember, it's meant to throw you off. What did the disciples say to Yahweh? Why are you speaking in parables? Yep. I'm telling you one simple story, but I'm giving you different names, times. It's meant to throw you off. But in Genesis the 27th chapter, he said, look, after the days of mourning for my father, which played out 7 AD after Yahweh, he said, then I'm going to slay my brother Jacob. That's playing out even to this very moment, man. That's why the word then is in there. All right. And that's why the scripture said, at the last, and we were back like a serpent, man. The story at some point. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon 10:10. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath, she guided him in right paths. Mm-hmm. Showed him of the Most High. Yep. And gave him knowledge of holy things. Yep.
This the same. Overcome him by the word. The fight climax does overcoming the devil by a testimony, overcoming the image. those who had victory over the beast. So it says she guided him. It was wisdom that navigated us through, fleeing from the wrath of that wicked brother. Well,
made him rich in his travail and multiplied the fruit of his labors.
Yep, and multiplied the fruit of his labors. So eventually, the Lord, going to reward us. What's that? Hebrews. The Lord is not unrighteous to forget that works and labor love. So again, that's the story, man. The story don't switch up. Neither did the story emerge in the midst of the story been there. That's why again we read in Isaiah 46 chapter, declaring an end from the beginning. So that story is playing out now. This man is activated. Okay? Now real quick, let's go ahead and close up. I know you got yeah. And because there's so much stuff happening, and through the Spirit, the Lord, allow us to have, at times, for the most part, current events that actually can be filtered through the report, man. Proving Merodach has been taken, Babylon her idols are confounded. That's the report we're given as it takes place. Go ahead,
It says from Reuters.com, Australian military to help enforce Sydney Crown 19 lockdown as cases rise.
Right, so now you have, because we went into that a couple of days, it was going into curfew, but now it's more in detail. They enforcing the military, they're sending forth the military to enforce that thing. See? So that proves that resistance that's taking place. That's that brother's wrath. They playing out. Remember, he shall come down with great wrath, knowing that they have a short time. All right.
Little bullet points. It says 300 military personnel to aid police, troops to aid enforcement of lockdown. Sydney lockdown threatens second recession.
Whoa. Beautiful, dangerous times, man. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, it's going down. So again, climax to that war, and we able to go into current, all these guys, these different ideology, philosophy, whatever platform you have, you can't marry this information with your, with your doctrine, man. Prophecy with Islam or black, the black consciousness community. This is the Lord showing you where we can go into detail. We can pinpoint things that happen in real time, and we can filter it through the Word, proving that this is the most powerful book here on the planet Earth. Why? Because it pushed forth the spirit of the power of Yahweh Shai, man, and his testimony. So things that's going to start happening, right, that drive you people to your feet. It's going to get your attention. This ain't no light work shit here. The things that's about to happen is going to drive people to your feet. You're going to be taken out of your comfort zone, and decisions is going to have to be made. And guess what? Those of us who have the testimony, right, we're going to see it play out, and that's going to contribute to your faith. That's why this is a wild. Hey, think about it. We driven to see all hell break loose. When you take a step back, that's a crazy to you people.
Yeah.
To the world. But we need to distract, we need missiles to come. Show you that I can't get involved in this, man. Because everything else like this survival. Oh yeah, I was trying to say he who lived to save his life. So you come into this, you gotta be like, oh, death coming. That's them the dangers that heads to the kingdom. That's heavy, man. Like if you're in the woods, you say that's the kingdom up there. But then you look and you see rage and fire in the deep water. You say, we got to go through that way. That's the only way. Kingdom of heaven. You see the kingdom on a great hill, like it's full of good things. So, those of us who see these things happen, we're going to actually be charged up. Your faith is going to be more increased as you see things. Think about it. The troops come to you, you like, we said that. So this is, you know, the journey is fraught with danger. This is a real drama, man. Yahweh's story was drama. That's why the scriptures say, he's the author and finisher of our faith. Come on, up.
It's on Romans 1:17. For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith.
Woo! From faith to faith, meaning situation to situation. So you're gonna be in this, you know, you believe now? Yeah, that's a level of faith. But then is it gonna be from faith to faith? To now, boom, somebody's knocking on the door or anything can happen. I'm gonna throw this out there too. It's really not a strategy either, man. Remember when you read Revelation, the third chapter? The Lord said, I will keep you from the hour of temptation. So what's gonna happen, we're gonna fall in the story in your life. The story gonna play out as it plays out, you know? Go ahead.
Take no thought.
You'll take no thought. Yeah, don't even worry about it. Because what's gonna happen, you ain't got no control over. Take no thought. Gonna be heavy moments, man. Heavy moments, man. We pray how much my side, you know, deliver us through it, man. Heavy story, you know, going through all that. Yep.
It says, for therein is the
but hold up, can I say the elect will be preserved? Now, preserving is dangerous because when you're preserved despite the conditions around you. That's why the 3 holy children went in the fire. The old story is so out there, you gotta believe it when other little things happen, like, yeah, man, you know, the powers of the heavens, Yahweh Shai, they known for getting you through situations. It's gonna get like that. Go ahead,
But therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith.
Yep, from faith to faith.
As it is written, the just shall live by faith.
Woo, you're gonna be believing situations. Yeah, that applies now because you got through your bills, but it's gonna go from faith to faith. Keep thinking it's gonna be on that, you know, this level. It's gonna be faith to faith as we advance closer and closer to the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, man. That is a humbling thought, you know. We just pray that Yahweh Shai keep us through those things, you know. But we kind of detoured a little, but it all, you know, synced in. We kind of climaxed at it with the story. But bottom line, you know, Esau, his countenance is going to change. He's going to be made bare. He's going to have to play the role he was allotted to play. That's just the story. So that contributes to your faith as well. But as we see these things going to happen, this devil closing in, you know, we're coming more and more down to the wire. Just, you know, hold fast. We here now, man. We in those times, right? So with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Countenance, double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, great millstone, Shalom, to the brothers out there laboring in his work. And as always, you believe it's the Akim as well as the Aqua. Those of you out there who subscribe to the truth as well, to the next time, Shalom.
Shalom. BTA, Abide, soon.
Every son.
Soon.